the thing that balances us through our ups and downs in life. And so I'd invite you, if you want to read out loud, which is something really powerful about that, to go ahead and mute yourself so we don't all, fall over each other. And let's say these principles together. Principle 1, God, absolute good and unconditional love, is the one constant presence and power in our lives and in the world. The gift of this principle is faith. And principle 2, all human beings are made in the image of God, and so our core essence is also goodness and love. The gift of this principle is self-esteem. Principle 3, we create our life experiences through our way of thinking and feeling. Everything we manifest begins with a thought. The gift of this principle is personal power. Principle 4, affirmative prayer and meditation heighten our connection with God mind and bring forth wisdom, healing, and abundance. The gift of this principle is guidance. And finally, knowledge of these principles is not enough. We must put them into practice and live the truth we know. The gift of this principle is integrity. Thank you so much. Karen Driscoll, my dear.
Well,
you're on mute. There you go.
Yeah. You get it back up on my phone. I just want to say happy Sunday to everyone, and you all look just as good from here as you do from the podium. Just the only thing we can't do is touch each other, but our hearts are connected. Today is understanding, and I open myself to spiritual understanding. When I feel frustrated by a personal or professional challenge, or feel unsafe or unconcerned or concerned about a situation or event, I seek greater understanding. When I try to understand, I open my heart. Maybe I just need to gather more information or request the advice of someone I trust. If I am in conflict with someone, I practice understanding by listening with a curious mind and loving heart. I grow in spiritual understanding when I discern and heed my inner guidance. Beyond conscious thought, spiritual truth begins to illumine my consciousness. As I release all that stands in my way of understanding and stand firm in the love that calls it forth, I am guided by my growing spiritual understanding. Psalm 119, 144, your decrees are righteous forever. Give me understanding that I may live.
Oh, thank you.
That's a new song that Catherine introduced me to this week, and I am in love with it. Sometimes I reflect on my own brokenness and how I have to move past how some of that is, and I congratulate myself. I remember the things I'm good at, and I don't, I posted this on Facebook a few weeks ago, and I don't want to brag about it, but I was washing my hands and unemployed back in January. So, I feel really good about myself for washing my hands. And washing your hands is absolutely everywhere right now. I was even driving down the road one day, and there are signs through Beaufort that are white signs with red letters, I think, that said, "Wash your hands." And I kind of started laughing because the font that it was in, the type of lettering style, it was kind of, it reminded me for some reason of one of those late 80s nighttime soap opera shows like Dynasty, where, they had the turns, you would turn your head and then your shoulders, and it was just over the top. And it reminded me of wash your hands, the idiom of wash your hands, when you're just going to be completely done with something. Have you ever felt like, I'm just going to be completely done with something? I wash my hands of this relationship that no longer serves. I wash my hands of this job. I wash my hands of that boss. We've all had something in our lives that we just wanted to wash our hands of, to be completely through and done with it. And that came up to mind as everywhere we're turning, we keep getting reminded to wash our hands in this current experience, this current adventure of life. Right now, and we talked about this last week, right now, we are being called to new life. That's the story of the resurrection. We are all being called into new life. We are called to recognize the Christ within ourselves, and we are being called to recognize the Christ in each other as we walk this road to Galilee. And to get to Galilee, we have to wash our hands of everything that is not true. Remember, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Yes? Nod some heads for me. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And so we have to do this proverbial washing of our hands of that which no longer serves us. And that, my friends, is the power of renunciation. To renounce. And here's what Charles Fillmore says about renunciation. When working under the light of spirit, the faculty of renunciation or elimination establishes a freedom in soul and body consciousness that gives tone and strength and elasticity to the whole person. Letting go of the old in an orderly and decisive manner, at the same time laying hold of the new, engenders a sweetness and a lightness of the whole being. Letting go of the old in an orderly and decisive manner. Do you feel the power in that statement? Orderly and decisive. I think there's great wisdom in this right now as we are living through this unusual, for many of us, unusual time of social distancing, shifting financial experiences, increased togetherness for those of us who cohabitate. We're eating at home more. And right now, this is the experience of wandering in the wilderness. Wandering in the wilderness with many of the same responsibilities, yet with a completely new experience of life. Yes? Think about what ways this pandemic is creating a new experience of life for you. As we let go of the old, and we take hold of this new and greater expression of life. And see, let go of the old. It's really difficult for me to believe that it was only 4 months ago that Catherine led this congregation through the work of finding yourself in transition. The constant thing about this physical experience of life is change, but you know what? This is a little bit more change than I was expecting. How divine that together this community walked through finding yourself in transition as preparation for something as significant as this. This is not the transition I expected. Does that resonate with anyone else? I see some heads nodding. So after Catherine finished that series, I visited with you in January, and I also talked about change. And I reminded all of us that change can be uncomfortable. And I talked about another, very popular saying like wash your hands of something. I said, remember that eventually you're going to hear, this is the way we've always done it. Remember that? And I invited you to then, with curiosity, ask the question, who is the we? Because the we has changed. Who we were yesterday is not the same. Who we are today is certainly not the same as who we were back in December. Life has changed us. We are changed, and that we no longer exists. And I bring this up because I cannot count the number of times that recently I have heard people say, we can't wait for things to get back to normal. And so here's what I want to invite you to do today. Wash your hands of normal. Wash your hands of normal, because life is never going to return to normal, because we have all changed. This pandemic has touched everyone in this world. And if it hasn't yet, it will by the time it's over. We are changed, and we are being invited to a new experience of life. The Christ lives in you, and life must be lived from the inside out. Do you get that now? If you've been coming to Unity for a while, you have to realize life has to be lived from the inside out. And it's ironic to me that suddenly we are being asked, most of us for the most part, to live our lives from inside our homes. We are being asked to live from the inside out, but it has to start in here and in here. Right? The power of renunciation shifts our consciousness from the external world and helps us realign to the truth of who we are. Do you get that? Renunciation helps us shift our focus to the inside, to the truth of who we are. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. We are changed, and we are being invited to a new experience of life. And we have been given this incredible opportunity to experience renunciation in a way that most of us have never even imagined. Because I don't know about you, but every bad thought, every negative thing that I have ever thought is showing back up and inviting me to have a new experience. Now, the American Tibetan Buddhist Pema Chodron explains renunciation this way. Renunciation is clearly seeing how we hold back, how we pull away, how we shut down, how we close off. And then learning how to open. I love that. I love that because I know that sometimes I hold back. I pull away. I shut down. I close off. I'm willing to bet the same is true for you. So pause for just a moment and contemplate this moment in our lives. We are simultaneously wandering in the wilderness, and we are walking towards Galilee. We're being called to a higher level of consciousness, and we are in the midst of extraordinary change. And right now, seize it. Right now, in this moment, we have an opportunity to discover what is holding us back, what is making us pull away, what prompts us to shut down, what makes you want to close off. So, what is it for you? Is it the drive to be perfect? So you become unreasonable with others and with yourself? Maybe you desire to be needed so much that you ignore and discount your own needs. Perhaps you're completely focused on appearing to be the champion, and so everything turns into a competition. Maybe you're trying to cover up that nameless and unknown missing thing that you think you lack. That thing that you've convinced yourself makes everyone abandon you. Is the world too invasive for you, and so you close off rather than learning to be vulnerable? Maybe you simultaneously feel like the world is unsafe and that authority must be questioned, and so you withdraw from life. Are there too many options and opportunities in the world, so you pull away rather than risk settling on something? Are you seeking vengeance for all the injustices in the world and lose sight of spiritual truth? Do you feel unvalued by others and perhaps even yourself, and thus become mired in inaction? What is it? What is it for you? These ideas or worldviews pull us away from the truth of who we are. It's the truth that sets us free. If one or more of these questions pulled at you, it's a sign that there is renunciation work for you to explore. Because you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Everything in my consciousness that is not spiritual truth is holding me in bondage. Everything in your consciousness that is not spiritual truth is holding you in bondage. Can you see that? So we have this incredible power of renunciation, the power to wash our hands of that which no longer serves us. Renunciation, releasing negative thoughts, feelings, and beliefs from our consciousness. Renunciation, helping us avoid negativity in the world. Work to create a vacuum so that you can fill your life with every good thing. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things shall be added unto you. So, are you willing to give things up? Are you willing to look at why you're holding up, why you're holding back, why you're shutting down, why you're pulling away from life, from yourself, from your relationships? Because you need to explore the spiritual truth. Yes? So I'm going to share a couple of ways that maybe renunciation will work for you. Figure out what's holding you back. Find the story, the belief, the root of this that is shackling you, holding you in bondage. Renounce it. So I have a story of this many years ago. When I was studying spiritual economics with Reverend Catherine, I discovered that I had this belief that work had to be difficult. It had to be difficult to make a living, and that I always had to have multiple jobs to make ends meet. And I gave up that thought. I renounced that. It is not true that work must be difficult. It is not true that I must work hard. My prosperity comes to me and I live in abundance. And as I made that shift in my thinking, I got offered a job to go into sales, a completely commission-based position, which I had never had before. And I immediately gave myself a $10,000 raise because I was willing to give up the thought that life had to be difficult, that work had to be difficult, that making ends meet would be difficult. And what I ended up doing is I was selling kids' furniture. And when there weren't customers in the store, I was playing video games. And I was having the time of my life at that moment. Whatever the circumstance of your life is right now, there is a story or there is a belief tied to that. And as long as you aren't willing to look at that thought and that belief, you are going to fill your life with that truth. You are resonating at that vibration, and you will stay there until you renounce that belief, that story, that thought. Yes? But you have to spend some time figuring out, what are these beliefs? What are these stories that keep showing up? Because if the same thing keeps happening in your life, you have not found that belief yet. You have to uncover that belief. You have to dig it out. And I want to pause and just remind you that renunciation is not about denying the evident truth. It's about denying the false beliefs that we carry. It will not do you a bit of good to make a denial, to deny, to renounce that there's a pandemic going on. There is a pandemic going on in the world right now. But if you're holding fear about that, that's where you can renounce. Fear has no power in my life. I know that I am guided by divine wisdom in each and everything I do. Right? We deny the power of fear. We deny the power of anger, and we step into the emotional state that we want to have. Okay? So remember that. You're not denying the evident truth. You are shifting the power center back to the truth of who you are. Okay. Now, this is the second thing I want to share with you is I want you to make forgiveness a mindfulness practice. Make forgiveness a mindfulness practice. Okay? For yourself and for others. Now, as I've been preparing for this talk, I've been reading a book by William Warch called How to Use Your 12 Gifts from God. And he has introduced me to a brand new way to experience forgiveness that I love. And he suggests that you flip forgiveness. You give for. By giving, we release ourselves from the potential resentment that would hold us in bondage. Yes? So when you experience some place in yourself that feels weak, you give it strength. Right? When you experience anger in the world, and you've met these people probably in line in the grocery store who are angry about something, when you experience anger, for the anger, you give serenity. You give peace. For pride, you give humility. For deceit, you give truthfulness. When you experience someone being condescending, you give kindness. For greed, you give generosity. Do you see this? For fear, you give courage. Wherever you meet it, in yourself or in another embodiment of the Christ across from you, Whatever you sense is missing, you give that. You always give that. When you experience certainty, give curiosity. And if you're never really sure what you can give, you can always give compassion. Yes? Because we stayed centered with prayer and meditation. We stay focused on the silence so that we might know the truth, so that no matter what is happening in the world, we can always show up with compassion for the other people we meet. Yes? Nod some heads. And part of this giving for really struck home this week when Reverend Catherine reminded me of the power of asking the right and perfect question. And always asking the right and perfect question from the place of compassion. Because when you truly encounter someone and you're compassionate and you say, hey, tell me what's wrong. What's really going on here? You connect in a way that sets you free. So, ask the right question. And finally, this is what I really, this has been a struggle for me a little bit, and maybe it is for you, maybe it's not, maybe you're easy with this, but fill your time with positive messages, music, and people. Fill your time with positive messages, music, and people. That means that we have to limit our screen time. We have to put some brakes on some of our social media. You know, it's ironic to me that we're having service via social media, and yet social media and the news are creating so much anxiety in the world right now. And I quoted news because I miss Walter Cronkite. You know, I miss journalistic integrity and people just saying, here's what's happening in the world. You decide what this means. Because I don't think I've experienced that in many, many years. So limit your screen time. Listen to positive messages. You can find all of the talks from Crystal Coast Unity on YouTube, except for last week's because I forgot to record it. But you can find these messages. You can find all sorts of incredible positive messages available to you if you are going to get on some screen time. Otherwise, there are lots of books that you can read. In fact, you can even start this coming week with Reverend Catherine and myself when we start going through spiritual economics. Because there's never been a more appropriate time to dive in to what Spirit has in store for us. And if you find yourself surrounded by negative people, hold them with compassion and distance yourself where you need to. That is a loving act of self-kindness. That is an act of self-care. Because we are called to love one another, but we also have to love ourselves. And so we can hold people up, we can hold them in prayer, we can hold them in the light. But, you know, when they start to put our light out, I want you to remember it is an act of self-care to withdraw a little bit and surround yourself with positive people, positive music, positive messages. Yes? Can I get some head nods? Excellent. So those are 3 things that you can try. If you have questions, you want to talk about this, we're going to be on after our service concludes today to have a conversation. And we'll be here to answer questions and share ideas. And I want you to be a part of that. Because we're living in this moment right now. There's never been a better time for us to look at the power of renunciation. I don't know how long this current experience of life is going to last. I know that it's going to feel like 40 years. Yeah, 40 years, as long as it takes. And I want you to remember this. You are in the midst of learning to live in a new way. Perhaps you are also trying to work from home. Maybe you're also trying to teach from home. And that can't be easy, so be kind to yourself. You're doing a great job. And this experience of life right now, it can either be torture or it can be a gift. What it is determined by you and your place in consciousness. And right now, I know that even though we're wandering in the wilderness, each and every one of you is headed to Galilee. So wash your hands. I love you all very much. I invite you at this time to take a deep breath and center yourself. Maybe plant your feet on the floor and relax your hands if it's comfortable. And if you want to, close your eyes and take a deep breath. We're going to spend just a couple of minutes in this moment in meditation in the silence. So a deep breath. And then let go a huge exhale. Letting go is the natural response of the body. You can't hold your breath forever. So take a deep breath and let it go. And relax into this moment. Feel the support of your seat holding you. And in the mind's eye, see a tiny but brilliant white light. And bring your attention to that tiny but brilliant white light in this moment. And relax into that light as it expands. As it expands. As it expands. Be aware that this light is the light of truth. This is the Christ light that lives in you. Be willing to let it show you that which you can release. Now, in the silence. And when it's comfortable, bring your awareness back to this moment, to this space, to this gathering. And if the light showed you anything that you did not already know, remember it. And if not, know that you can always go back to this space. And that light will show you what you need to know. That light is the truth. The truth shall set you free. So it is.
New song by Elaine Penn. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Elaine. I hope you're still on. Just thank you for letting us use that for a service where we get to consider the ways that we might give back for what we receive from unity, from others in our life, the richness and abundance that we're surrounded with. And so I invite you now to consider that which you want to give in your life this coming week, including whatever financial gifts you can send to Crystal Coast Unity to make sure that our congregation and our church stays stable through this experience, and that we're able to continue doing the work we do, not only now in this region, but online. This is a joy to be spreading this message far and wide right now. So I invite you to join me this morning in our offering prayer. Let's say that together. I am grateful for the unlimited wellspring of life, substance, and intelligence within me. As I joyfully give way to its flow, I transform my life and co-create a prosperous spiritual community that blesses the world. Yes, we do. We do that together. And so you'll see coming up now ways that you can give from a distance. You can mail us a check to that address on your screen in Morehead City, Post Office Box 742, or you can go online to crystalcoastunity.org and scroll on down till you find the donate button and donate through PayPal. We do so appreciate it. And we appreciate being able to keep spreading this message as far and wide now. So, all right, let's say our offering prayer together. We're blessing these offerings, even though we can't hold them in our hands right now necessarily. We can't see them, but we know they're there. So let's go ahead and bless them in advance as Jesus taught us to do. Let's say it together. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. So it is, and so it is. So let's see now what's coming up. This is going to be Sanctuary on Monday. Now I've sent out a sheet. You have your announcements. If you do not have current ones from this week, be sure and let me know or Todd know so we can send you the current links for all of these programs, okay? All right, so Monday, of course, guided meditation with Sky. I don't know how many of you know that Sky is a gifted hypnotherapist. Her meditations are very special. Check in with her. You have directory. Just send her an email. Let her know you want to be online, and she'll send you. I think we're publishing her link, though, so you can just join in, too. On Tuesdays, we have the Gratitude Circle from 5 to 6 p.m., and I really invite you to consider joining us for that. We've had some powerful experiences by week after week coming together to focus in on gratitude. Things are opening up, awareness and memories and things that we may not have had. And we're finding tremendous gratitude for the circle of people that join us there. So you're all just so welcome. You can be with Betsy on Wednesday morning at 10:30 for Laughter Club. what a hoot. And open heart meditation with Kat on Wednesdays at 5. And then coming up this week at 5 o'clock, Spiritual Economics begins too at 6, right after Kathy's meditation. Todd and I will be presenting Eric Butterworth's Spiritual Economics. This is a powerful teaching. It was life-changing to me. I still remember the first time I went through the Spiritual Economics class, because I didn't understand the spiritual basis underneath Unity's prosperity principle until I did that class. And once you get it, it reframes the way you look at the world. And it reframes the way you look at your money and all the other forms of abundance in your life. So this is classic teaching. You can download the book by the same name, Spiritual Economics by Eric Butterworth. Download it from Amazon and study along with us. On this Thursday, being the fourth Thursday of the month, we have the Law of Attraction workshop with Leslie and Summer coming right up. Summer or Leslie, are you there? Anything you want to share about that workshop? You unmute?
Yeah, I'm. This is Summer. I'll just share that it's really compelling the similarities between Todd's message today and our chosen focus for the Law of Attraction workshop this Thursday. So the theme is coming home to your sacred truth, and we'll be presenting some ideas, some tools and practices for really rewriting some of the stories that we've believed in and lived by up until now. Getting rid of so funny, like Todd, I feel like you hit all the points that we were going to practice in our activities on Thursday. But basically, this is an opportunity for us to go inside in our physical home space, in our thought space, and really, with discernment, let go of things that are no longer serving us. And the opportunity here being to recreate our life in alignment with the truth that our inner being already knows, in alignment with the greatest potential that we can embody. We have a great opportunity here during this great pause. There's a lot that's been slowed down. The whole momentum of society slowed down. Our thought speed is slowed down. This is a great chance for us to choicefully make a course correction on a lot of levels. So join us Thursday, 6:30 to 8. We'll send out the link for this Law of Attraction group, focusing on coming home to our sacred truth.
Thank you, Summer, so much.
Mm-hmm.
And Elaine, I don't know if you're on. If you are, do you have anything you want to say about your gratitude circle on Thursday night? I don't know if she's still there or not. Yeah, several of us have been joining Elaine for her gratitude circle. It's a tremendous experience. Elaine truly focuses on different ways to raise your vibration. And given from what we've been talking about, we're all maybe sort of feeling the sadness and the low energy this week. This is a great boost with Elaine. A lot of music, including some toning and some sound healing. So yeah, you can join Elaine. Again, both the Law of Attraction workshop and the Gratitude Circle with Elaine, all of these events are on the sheet that we sent out. So you'll find the links there. If they don't click open, you can always copy and paste them to the search line in your browser, or Google or whatever you're using, and that will work. So Elaine, you there?
Catherine, you did a great job of describing the class. I'm sorry I couldn't get to my mute button fast enough. It was a wonderful service today, and you're right. It's a full bodied program that includes different techniques and tools to raise our vibration. And it's very much in alignment with Summer's program, which sounds wonderful, and Todd's service. But it's another opportunity to come together in community, in spiritual connection. I talk about things like gratitude, positive music, prayer, and we pick a different theme every week, and we have conversations around that, and we do a sound healing meditation. So it's been a beautiful experience, and I love having this opportunity to connect with Crystal Coast Unity. So thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, so there's plenty that we're doing our best to offer plenty of opportunities for us to keep our spirits up and to be sending those positive vibrations out into the world. And then on Friday evening at 5:30, we just kick back and talk about whatever. So that's our time to just get together in a very informal way and be together, sort of pretend like we're the local pub just chatting away. So it's a lot of fun. So anything else from anybody?
Catherine,
Yes.
just a quick thought.
So I invite you now to close as we always do. Sort of imagine that we're holding hands in our circle, and let's say the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love of God. The power of God protects me. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over me. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth. Thank you, guys. See you soon. Be back here in a minute or two. God bless you and namaste.